Selamat pagi Pak Jeki. Pada kesempatan kali ini kelompok kami akan menjelaskan bagaimana kita form finding menggunakan grasshopper. Pertama-tama kita membuat dulu sebuah rectangle 20 kali 20 cm. Ini 1:62 menggunakan rectangle. Habis itu rectangle tersebut kita buat mesh. Wait, sabar. Nah, dari mesh ini kan kita bisa melihat ada titik-titiknya. Nah, titik ini tuh penting untuk membuat ini. Oke. Jadi titik-titik barusan kita menggunakan vertex loads untuk mengangkat semua titik yang ada di bawah menjadi di load ke atas. Lalu kita menggunakan edge length juga. Ini gunanya untuk mendata ke dalam Rhino-nya. Kalau misalnya satu plane tadi itu bukan cuma plane tapi elastis, bisa ditarik. Nah, habis itu anchor. Oh ya, habis itu kita menggunakan anchor di bagian ini. Oh, oke, nggak kelihatan. Jadi anchornya ada di setiap sisi sudut ini. Itu untuk memberitahu pada rhino-nya bahwa
nggak goyang.
Ya, jadi semuanya bisa di otak-atik kecuali dalam titik-titik itu sendiri.
And dari anchornya we use a line or a curve in Rhino to make exactly what we need. So in this case, there's a curve in here somewhere that we pinpoint certain points to go into these points. For example, this line right here, and also this curve on the sides to make sure that
Stays. Ya, anchor itu supaya dia stay di tempat.
Gak going gitu. So it doesn't get affected by anything that we do in the loads.
Nah, setelah kita buat anchornya kan kita udah bisa menentukan apa yang berhenti. Nah, sekarang kita bisa mulai ubah-ubah menggunakan load masing-masing. Jadi load ini tuh kita ambil titiknya kasih lihat aja deh. Mana ya tadi?
List item aja.
Nah, titik yang di sini kita pilih, dari sini nyambung, habis itu kita masukin ke dalam load, jadi dia bisa dinaikin atau diturunin, tergantung loadnya, itu cara kerjanya. Nah, apa?
Dibikin pakai vector.
Oh ya, ini.
And these points are from the naked vertices from the mesh itself. So, for example, we imagine using these naked vertices that these points here would translate to these points on the simulated mesh. So if we want these, for example, this line here to divot downwards, we would kind of guess on the naked vertices that those points up there are same as these points on the ground here. So we list those items and we create a vector. Well, in the bespoke location, some has a y vector and a z vector, some only have z vectors to push them either anyways that we want, downwards, upwards, push it forward. So this is basically playing around with what we want. And the objective is to basically match the essence of the card itself and reflect it onto this pavilion on top.
Ya. Jadi untuk mengubah bentuk pakai load itu, kita harus ngelis itemnya dari titik-titik ini. Aku nunjuk pakai tangan. Jadi dari titik ini, dia udah ada nomornya sendiri, terus dicari tahu nomornya apa, dipilih, terus di load. Terus, ini ditulis. Oh enggak, udah oke. Ya, habis itu.
Solver is the simulation.
Ya, buat itu kalau nggak flat. Udah kan? Habis ini ya.
So now we want to work out the paneling um, into this mesh, because initially it's just a mesh that looks like this. Now the question is, how do we create panels for fabrication? And so from this mesh, a little trick that I normally like to use is to use face boundary, which essentially turns that mesh into a surface or a brep. And that brep, using dbrep, we're able to get the faces, the edges, and the vertex points. So we can get the face, the lines, and the points, which is good because from there we can, essentially take everything out of this mesh. The first thing to do is to make a panel. And the panel, even though, although we can just take it straight from the face, we want to do a step extra by using surface 4 point, because from there we're able to scale it down from the center point on eval surface. Eval surface with an MD slider essentially finds the center point of every panel. And using that center point, we're able to scale each surface of the bread down. And the reason why is because we want to have our structure pipes go through these points. This is our structure that we get from the face boundary. From this surface, so from the surface, we're able to use this plugin, and this plugin is Lunchbox, which is an easy plugin to essentially make structure systems. Using space for us to make a space frame, depending on the UV, which is 1, which essentially is the same UV as 10 here. It takes that UV. We're able to create this space frame, and we didn't want to make it protrude all the way out to make it spiky, because it would lose the essence of the car. So we minimalized the distance. Then from those points, we pipe both in radius of 1, because that means the diameter would be 2 millimeters, and we're able to 3D print that. And the end result is this pipe right here. But we didn't want to stop there, because our concept was to highlight the amazing aerodynamics of the car. We wanted to create some sort of aerodynamic pattern on each panel that is bespoke. Essentially, looks as if air is flowing through the pavilion itself. Um, and we did that using a toucher point, probably.
Nah, ini mana atraktornya?
Uh,
Oke. Nah, jadi bisa di-preview nggak? Oh iya, nggak kelihatan, sorry. Nah, jadi dari Rhino itu kita bisa bikin satu point, kita taruh di sini. Kan kita tadi udah bikin rectangle bolong yang dalam sini kan. Maksudnya kayak boundary rectangle-nya di dalam setiap panelnya. Nah, sekarang kita mau mengubah bentuk-bentuknya dari rectangle itu supaya rectangle itu beda-beda bentuk, terus teratur bentuknya dari besar menjadi kecil, gunanya agar bisa mengatur cahaya yang masuk ke dalam pavilion itu. Nah, kita bisa menggunakan attractor dari point, ini pointnya udah ditaruh di sini. Nah, dari point situ disambungin. Oke. Disambungin, jadi semua rectangle ini yang tadi udah ada titiknya masing-masing itu, dia bisa, apa ya namanya, mengenal yang paling dekat ke titik ini, itu jadi lebih kecil daripada yang paling jauh. Gitu. Paling udah kan? Oh, oke. Terus ini kita mau ganti ke Rhino atau jelasin di sini aja? Oke. Nah, abis itu dari boundary rectangle tadi kita potong, terus dilubangin di Rhino supaya jadi jendela.
And then from that Rhino, we moved it back into Grasshopper surface, because what we realized was that every panel is not planar, which means it's curved in some sort. So, and we need to 3D print it, or we don't want to 3D print it, so we want to laser cut. And to laser cut, it needs to be planar. So from there, we moved it back into Grasshopper and into one simple command.
Di Android.
Excuse the caution marks. We don't have it in this file, but essentially unrolling it makes every plane or panel planar. Um, and then from there, we wanted to put these planar surfaces into a grid. And the reason why we wanted to put it into grid is so it's easily laid out. Instead of having to do it manually, we're able to essentially sheet all these panels into individual points of the grid. We just need to make the grid as curves, and we can export it into Adobe Illustrator. So we take the area of each unrolled panel, and then we put a vector 3 point from the area into each point in this grid, and we just moved it. And after moving it, we deburr. And the reason why we deburr is because we want to split each line, right? Because this is a surface, we wanted to make it into lines or curves. And the reason why we want the curves is because 3D printing, not 3D printing, laser cuts understand only curves. So, and we wanted to split it into two. That's why we have list item. And the reason why is because we want the inner rectangle here to be cut first before the outer rectangle. So we highlighted, we split the inner rectangle and the outer rectangle. And that's because we were able to then, after baking it, change the color of the inner rectangle and the outer rectangle. So it would be easy for us to change the strength or which one goes first in laser cutting. And yeah, that is our project.
Thank you.